Okay, welcome back to Menopause Madness. And today has been a roller coaster for me. But I'm hanging in there. I keep reminding myself not to get caught up in the negative spirals and cry when you need to cry, Kim. So, this is a follow up to a video I posted just this morning, but I'm feeling compelled to share some things because I'm concerned there might be some blowback and some concerns about uh, not giving you the whole picture. So, what I mentioned in the last video was that cortisol levels can very much play a part in your menopause symptoms. Very true. I also mentioned that cortisol levels are influenced by your emotional states and the thoughts that you feed your emotional states with, that being those negative emotions that create stress. Honestly, positive emotions sustained for too long also can create stress. Your body needs to be in an equilibrium. That said, one of the quotes of statistics that I shared was that these negative thought processes contribute to autoimmune disease occurrence in women. So let me share some more about my thoughts on that. First of all, I did some checking to make sure I wasn't leading anybody astray because a friend reached out and shared that um, there are other causes for autoimmune disease flare up. One of those being the well known virus that I shall not name, um, and even some of the treatments for the well known virus. Um, that set aside, let me share a story. And that'll better explain why I jumped straight to the emotional aspect of it. For quite a few years, I was struggling with Hashimoto or symptoms of what I thought was Hashimoto's or thyroid disease. And I got blown off. I changed my diet. I changed my diet some more. I saw some improvements, but still some concerns. Um, I did more exercise. I did more, well, it was mainly exercise and diet that I changed. I did different alternative medicines. Some of them were helpful, and I'm still in favor of alternative medicines. Um, because, well, I'll get back to that. So here's what happened with me. I dove down into the diet pretty strongly because your diet does very much play an impact on the physical environment that your body is having to cope with. Certain foods are known to be inflammatory. Sugar, for example, dairy products can tend to fall into that category. And I'm not saying go change all of that in your diet. I'm just pointing out some things that I learned and something to consider. So aside from that, um, after many years of waiting on them to diagnose something, eventually I ended up with colon cancer. I then was told, based on some labs, before I could get surgery, I would be required to go on thyroid medication. And I, at this point, had fought it, like, had been treating it myself for a long time. Um, but I was opposed to the medication. I had wanted the labs and I had wanted the medication at one time, but now I was dead set against it. So I ended up going on medication because I really wanted the surgery and that was the only way it was going to happen. Um, and fast forward, cancer's gone. Um, I'm dealing with uh, more symptoms with my thyroid, and the endocrinologist says, "Oh, we need to up your medicine." All right, up the medicine. Symptoms aren't any better. Matter of fact, I'm feeling worse. And menopause is closer and closer. Like I was already seeing some major changes. Go back to the doctor. Oh, we need to up your medicine. Okay, more medicine. Symptoms are worse. My blood sugar was out of control at this point. I had a very slim pickings on diet, and um, I was hungry all the time, and no matter what I ate, and my I felt shaky and weak and brain foggy all the time. Doctor's suggestion, "Oh, you need more medicine." Well, eventually, and I won't get into the whole story, I decided to take myself off of the medication. And the first few weeks while my body adjusted to that plan were rough. Um, but then I recognized I was starting to feel better and better. My blood sugar wasn't doing all kinds of craziness. I did make some changes. I did add some supplements. I did change the diet again. I did dive deeper into my spiritual life. And a lot of emotional, mental changes made during that time. Um, so this is why I jumped straight to the emotional aspect of it. Um, because I recognize that these other things are helpful, but at the root of it, if you don't change what's the root cause, which I strongly believe is an energetic spiritual component, then all of the medicines, supplements, diets are not going to help. And I know I promised I told you I would come back to something. I'm gonna have to look and figure out what that was, so I'll do a jump cut on here. Um, so yes, diet matters. Yes, there are additional changes that you can do to support your body. I think that was the other thing I was going to share. Um, because while you're correcting the yes, that was it. While you're correcting the emotional components and lowering your stress levels, um, your body's going to need some support. Your cells are inflamed, and there's um, studies to back that up as well. Um, and the thing is that as far as diet and exercise and those types of things, although your body does need those better diets and to move on a regular basis, your body is also designed to heal itself. And if it's not doing that, and you keep throwing diet and exercise at it, but the rest of your life is a shit show and your thoughts are a shit show, then it's going to be like trying to plug a dam that's got a, a crater size hole by putting your finger in it. Um it, you're basically just grazing the surface if you're doing anything. Um mainly at that point, what you're changing is your willingness to love yourself enough to make those changes even though they might not be what you thought you wanted. It's a surrendering moment. It's teaching yourself that you care enough about your body to make those positive changes. And I'm not saying that we don't care at all. I'm saying that sometimes we care more about making our mouth happy than the rest of our body. Or maybe we just, don't want to exercise because it's too much trouble or whatever. Um, so we've got a machine here that we have to treat as such that it's got certain needs. You wouldn't tell your car it's too bad you need some good good quality gasoline. I'm not going to give it to you. I'll just put water in. Like it's not how it works. There are lots of ways to support your body while you're making those changes, and I definitely recommend that. whether that's an autoimmune disease or cancer or menopause symptoms, while you're choosing to heal yourself, support yourself from as many angles as possible. Uh, Essential oils are a good choice. Um, Diet and exercise, like I mentioned, dealing with trapped emotions. Um, what am I forgetting? Herbal remedies. But the big thing really is always going to come back to your mind, because if your mind keeps saying, I'm not going to do those things, I'm not going to try those things, well, then you're stuck in a loop. You got to get out of the loop. You got to get out of the loop. And that was partly addressed in my last video. So I'll quote from this book that I've been reading by Gabor Mate, which is where some of this information is coming from. Some of it's coming, like I said, from my own personal experience and lots of research over the years. Okay, so here's the quote from Gabor Mate about disease. One second. Okay. Disease is an outcome of generations of suffering, of social conditions, of cultural conditioning, of childhood trauma, of physiology bearing the brunt of people's stresses and emotional histories, all interacting with the physical and psychological environment. It is often a manifestation of ingrained personality traits, yes, but that personality is not who we are any more than the illnesses to which it may predispose us. In other words, you can change. And we all know that, or we wouldn't be listening to this video right now. I wouldn't be sharing this video right now if I thought none of you could change. So that's what it boils down to. That's why I keep talking about the mindset stuff. It's a game changer. All right. So hopefully that addressed any concerns about potential causes other than your emotions and your mental status. I don't know if I mentioned already that the book that I quoted from, the study related specifically to mental health, um, being treated or not being treated. Those studies, that the study that they alluded to was done in 2018. They also did a mouse study where they purposely stressed the mice in 2013. And then I could go on and give more, but those are the ones I'll say for now. So, having said all of that, I hope that gives you some insight into the importance of dealing with the mental capacity part of it, and shifting that will help shift everything else. Because if you keep, like I said with the well example or the dam example, if you keep pouring into a bottomless pit of not dealing with the root of the problem, then things are not going to get better. But you can't ignore those other areas as well. So, those are my thoughts. Make it a great day.